Much of pregnancy and postpartum care is focused on the baby, which can leave mothers without many of the resources and support that they need. It's estimated, listen to this number, that 1 in 4 pregnancies ends in a miscarriage, though that number, experts believe, could be much higher. About 1 in 8 women have infertility issues. Many also struggle with postpartum depression, not to mention trouble feeding their babies and judgment and stigma from other people on pregnancy and child care practices. Everybody has an opinion. The company Poppy Seed Health offers one-on-one access to their doulas, midwives, and nurses 24 hours a day with various pricing options. Founder and CEO Simmone Taitt started the company after her own experience with loss. Good morning to you, Simmone Taitt. Really good to have you here. I think this is such an important conversation. There's a lot of stigma and shame, and I'm hoping that you'll help eliminate some of that today. So this is a really personal story for you. What happened?
It is deeply personal for me. So I want to take you back to 2016 when I had my first pregnancy loss. My first. I've had multiple since. And I was at my doctor's office first thing in the morning in my first trimester, and we couldn't find a heartbeat. And instead of getting the kind of care and comfort that I thought I deserved in those moments, my doctor looked at me and said that my body had terminated my pregnancy. Which was like a dagger through the heart.
That phrasing is...
It was horrific. But then she followed up and said, but it's normal. It's fine. I'll see you in a few months when you start trying again. And she left the room.
And you're just sitting there.
And I was sitting there, not just sitting there, I was devastated. I was crying. I was deeply emotional. I was in a state of shock and denial because I had come in pregnant. And I had just found out that I wasn't pregnant anymore.
And then in a way, she sort of blamed you. Your body terminated the pregnancy. This was 2016. You said you've had multiple miscarriages. Have you been able to have a baby?
I have not been able to have a baby, and just these stats here are devastating. We just don't know it. That 1 in 4 people will experience a pregnancy loss during their reproductive years. And I'm always trying. In any way that family happens for me, we'll make it happen.
I would think it'd make it more painful for you to discuss it, you know?
Sure.
I mean, women have difficulties before pregnancy, during pregnancy, and then after. And it is so fundamentally true that there are resources for the baby, but not as many for the mother. And now we have midwives, doulas, and nurses. I think people know what nurses do. Talk about midwives and doulas, if you could.
Well, most people who have doulas will tell you that they couldn't have gotten through their pregnancies, labor and delivery, and postpartum without a doula. We are trained emotional and mental health and well-being best friends for you. We are your advocates. We can fill in the blanks in places that you have no idea with evidence-based information and that emotional support that only you can go to. And our midwives are holistic caregivers. They are medical providers who really focus on the whole person and not just the baby. And that is so important. That's what we do at Poppy.
You know what?
We focus on you.
It's been 34 years since I've had a baby. I never even heard the phrase, to be honest with you, doulas. But I don't know anybody that's had a doula, favorite daughter Kirby included, that doesn't regret that they had a doula. They said it's life-changing and game-changing.
And for that reason, we think everyone should have access to doula.
So what do you do with Poppy Seed then?
Sure. So we are a 24/7 on-demand texting health tech company. So anytime you text with us in 90 seconds or less, one of our doulas, midwives, and nurses from all over the country will be in a one-on-one immediate conversation with you to meet you where you are with your emotional and mental health support. So at 3 a.m. in the morning when the baby isn't latching or you're feeling anxiety or you can't sleep, you can come to Poppy Seed Health and we are there for you instantaneously.
It's an incredible service that is so needed for women. But, you know, when you look at the support that they will have with Poppy Seed, sometimes the outside world doesn't give that same type of support. Gayle mentioned the stigma, miscarriages, infertilities. Sometimes you could look in the mirror and have your own inadequacy, but then there's judgment from the outside world. I don't know. I'm just a man on the outside looking in. Why is there so much judgment when it comes to all of these things that women have to deal with? And oftentimes from other women.
That's right. You know, the judgment and the narrative around stigma and shame, we've got to end it. but it starts with a cultural shift. We are not taught that we're sitting next to someone who might have just experienced a pregnancy loss. We're not taught how to support someone who's going through IVF, and those hormones can send you through the wall sometimes. Starting with the kind of cultural shift in the narrative, which is so important, also includes us being vulnerable and meeting people where they are with their emotional and mental health support as part of their healthcare journey. And so we oftentimes create guides and tell people and share with people the ways that they can support their loved ones.
Is there anything men can do?
Absolutely.
Get this service, I think, is what you need to do.
Yeah, that's
Question.
exactly right. Partner support is family
It's
support.
crucial.
Exactly.
It is so important for health outcomes, for the support of the entire family, and what happens on the other side of starting a family.
We've got to go. Why do you call it poppy seed?
Oh, well, Gayle, poppy seed health, poppy seed specifically, is the size of an embryo at the very beginning stages.
Wow.
So poppy seed health is with you no matter what the outcome is,
Yes.
pregnancy, postpartum, or loss.
Yes, thank you, Simmone.
Thank you.
So much.
Thank
That's
you.
very important information.